Hey everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Tuesday edition of Today in Sports Betting. And today we're very, very happy to have him back. We took a little break last week and did a little baseball preview, but we're back on our regular schedule. We've got our soccer sniper back from overseas, spending his summer over there in Mallorca, Spain, and happy to have him. But first, I'm going to bring on my co-host. He's also a bit of a footy fanatic, and it's going to be interesting to get his take on these European soccer games coming up. He is Scott Reichel. Scott, what's up, buddy?
Doing pretty well. Just looking forward to covering some soccer. Had a pretty good day yesterday, just hanging out. Definitely not as good of a day as Patrick Mahomes, but you get paid $500 million for the first time in sports history. It's pretty tough to beat in terms of quality of your Monday. You know what I mean?
Good day to be Pat. Good day to be Pat indeed. All right. Well, we've got American football, and then we've got football that the rest of the world talks about, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And who better to bring on than the one, the only, Valdis Pans. Valdis, welcome to the show. How are you, bud?
Good to be back again, and nice to see you guys once again. I hope you had a really good 4th of July, and greetings from sunny Spain.
That's fantastic, man. Scott and I were talking yesterday. We've got all 10 of our fingers left, same number of fingers we entered the weekend with. So we call that a victory here in the United States.
That's a victory indeed.
And I know we're coming down to it. We've the German league, the Bundesliga, is over, but we're coming down to the home stretch here in La Liga, as well as the EPL and Serie A. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as teams. I guess really the battles right here are to fend off relegation, and there's some real battles. So Scott, I know you've got something cooked up for tomorrow with speaking of bad teams, Barcelona's taking on Espanyol, and rumor has it you've got an angle, brother. So what is it?
So Barcelona naturally is favored by a large margin. If you look at all the markets, there's really not much value at all. But I'm going to be looking at a prop. Actually, it's going to be a player prop. And I feel like this line is a little bit too low. It's going to be on Luis Suarez to score any time at -124 on DraftKings. If you actually look for the same line on FanDuel, it's -165. So you're actually gaining 41 cents of value right there alone. Suarez has scored in 2 of the last 3 games for Barcelona. Espanyol has allowed at least 2 goals in each of the last 3 meetings. And you have already a 41 cent line disparity there. Barcelona could win this game by whatever score they want in reality if they really take this seriously, which they should, because they're still trailing Real Madrid and they're going to need as many points as they can get in order to potentially win La Liga. They could easily win this game by scoring 3 or 4 goals if they want to, but they could also win this game 2-0. I don't think Espanyol is going to score, but in reality, Suarez is still the number 1 striker. I know Messi he's Messi, but at the same point, I do think that since Messi's -235 to score anytime, Suarez at -124. He's slowly getting more and more minutes per game after coming off the bench during the restart at the beginning of it. But now he's playing roughly 60-something minutes a game, even more. So for that reason, I think he should find at least one or at least a handful of scoring opportunities there. And -124 is a bit too low. So my first play is going to be on Luis Suarez to score any time in the Barcelona-Espanyol game, and that's available at -124 on DraftKings.
Valdis, how do you feel about that?
I think that's probably the best bet you can squeeze out of this matchup overall. Betting on Messi to score, obviously, it doesn't bring anything because he might actually not score at all. He might actually do those, make those 3 assists to the people that are going to find the back of the net. Also, Messi might not be really in the best mindset at the moment because of all the rumors circulating him leaving Barcelona, then the president of Barcelona claiming that he's not going anywhere, that he's unhappy here, that he's happy there. It's all might be a little bit distracting to the, which some claim the best soccer player in the world. We'll see. Luis Suarez always is reliable when he's playing regularly, and for Barcelona, this is a match they need to win. Also, if they can score as many goals, at the very end of the day, if it comes to goal difference to determine who's going to be the champion between them or Real Madrid at the end, you never know. It might somehow transpire like that. then of course Barcelona will try to score as many goals as they can. The goal difference is quite similar. They actually have just like one goal more on goal differential than Real Madrid. Therefore, I think there's going to be plenty of scoring chances for Barcelona. Barcelona is not going to go to win. They're going to go to win by a really good score in this game. Meaning Luis Suarez is a great choice to back for anytime goal scorer.
Yeah, very good. And of course, Barcelona is just 4 points back of Real Madrid for the lead there in La Liga. And like you said, Valdis, they do actually have a bigger goal differential than Madrid has. That they're plus 42. Real Madrid is plus 41. So they're in a situation where goal differential could absolutely come into play. Yeah, I think that's a solid play. I mean, normally you would think, anytime you're taking minus money on a guy to score, you certainly have to scratch your head a little bit, but I think the circumstances dictate in this one that Suarez is certainly in the position to have a fantastic game and score at least one there in
at least one.
The back.
That's all we need.
All we need, baby. That's all we need. It just takes one. All right, Scott, that's a nice play. That kicks us off. And then that game, by the way, is tomorrow on Wednesday, and 4 p.m. Eastern time. So, that could be a little something to watch on Wednesday afternoon. That's not a bad thing at all. Valdis, what do you got cooked up for us? Anything you love in there?
Well, I don't like Mallorca's position in La Liga standings. My local team, obviously, Mallorca. If we speak about Espanyol as the worst team in the league, sitting 20th at the very bottom of the Spanish top division, Mallorca sitting 2 places above them and also facing, as it stands, relegation. Mallorca have actually lost more games than Espanyol. Espanyol have drawn 9 and Mallorca have lost 21 and drawn 5 compared to 20 losses of Espanyol. Still, obviously, Mallorca close to my heart. We'll be playing a really crucial game on Thursday against Levante. Obviously, there's 4 games left in La Liga for each team. Mallorca's currently trailing Safety while being 18th in the standings, trailing Safety by 6 points, meaning that 6 points away from Mallorca, there's 3 more teams. If, for example, any of them lose each game, great news for Mallorca, but still Mallorca need to win at least 2 of them. In this case, I don't even think that for Mallorca it would be a good escape, because the goal differential compared to the next 3 teams in the standings is quite substantial. So Mallorca needs to win at least 2, draw 1, and then the team can lose to Sevilla, for example. But it needs 2 wins and a draw to hope, actually just to hope to get another chance of staying in La Liga for another year. Now, out of all the teams that are basically 6 points off Mallorca, I could see Alaves, which currently sits 15th. I could see Alaves losing every game, because the team has Getafe, the team has Barcelona and Real Madrid ahead of them in 3 of the last 4 games. So for that, Mallorca really the players know that they can still survive in the top flight. So obviously the game against Levante will be a really, really important match. Also, it's played in Mallorca, and Mallorca kind of are the favorites in this one. The team has not played that bad. There's been some heavy defeats, but I've watched the games. The team has played some decent game, and there's been scoring chances that have been just pure lack of luck. Also, the team is not that good defensively. So for that matter, I don't think Levante will be an easy opponent to beat. If anything, Levante have only lost 1 of their last 8 games. Then again, Levante have drawn 5 of them. meaning that at least a point could probably be something Levante could take home from Mallorca on Thursday, leaving actually to bet on a draw here, probably the best option. Draw goes at plus 265. Interestingly enough, between the two teams, the last 5 meetings that they've had, Levante have won 3 of them. Both teams have drawn 2 of them, and both draws have ended with a score of 1-1. Also, interestingly, 5 of the last 6 draws of Levante in La Liga this season have ended with the same score of 1-1. So, given that Mallorca are not really that good offensively at the moment, they are missing a lot of chances. Plus, Levante are quite okay of earning at least a point lately. Another 1-1 draw could not be obviously cancelled out, not at all here. It goes at plus 540. Pretty good odds in my opinion. So I would probably.
Do you play both of those? Do you play the regular draw, or do you play the? And you play
I would probably go for both, because you never know. It might end scoreless, but like as a correct score 1-1, to put like a small amount on a plus with the odds of plus 540, in my opinion, is a really good deal here.
Okay, very good. Scott, how do you feel about that one?
Well, when he was talking about the matchup itself, I was originally leaning draw, so I was kind of in the same page there. Simply put, Mallorca, the issue is them actually putting goals in the back of the, scoring in the back of the net. Where Levante, I can say that they're a solid team. They're okay. They're kind of just mediocre. But at the end of the day, I feel like since Mallorca, even if you aren't that great, they still have a lot to play for, and they should play hard over the last couple of games. And I think that if they are able to even piece something together defensively, they have a shot at a draw. Now, of course, they haven't pieced really anything defensively the entire season. But if they can piece something together for 90 minutes, I think they can keep this game close. I don't think Levante is really that, I'd say, earth-shattering in terms of talent or anything like that. I think that they're a pretty mediocre team. I think that's how I would describe them.
And Levante will stay in the highest division anyway next season. So for Levante, probably the only hope they can have is just to finish as high as they can. They're not going to reach European soccer anyway. And for them, just a higher positioning is good. But playing against a Mallorca team that is quite troubled at the moment, the team can perform. Don't get me wrong. Their recent victory 5-1, when they scored 5 goals for the first time in how many seasons, was quite impressive. The team is really, Mallorca is really up and down. And for that matter, I think against an opponent that is quite in a similar kind of manner, you could expect an equal kind of game here. 1-1, one goal for each team is pretty realistic here.
All right, very good. Yeah, Mallorca is a small favorite in this one. They're favored by half a goal. If you want to take a 3-way on them, they're plus 100 as opposed to plus 245 for Levante. So the odds makers have definitely got this one capped as being a very close contest, leaving a little meat on the bone there for a tie. Very good. Very good. So now we got a little Wednesday action, got a little Thursday action. Scott, what kind of action do you have?
So I'm going to be sticking with La Liga, and to look at some of the other matchups that are coming up. I was trying to think of what order I wanted to go about doing this, but looking at the upcoming weekend for La Liga, I'm going to be looking at a Friday matchup, and it's going to be between Alaves and Real Madrid. And I'm going to take a little bit of a riskier play for a plus price. It's going to be Real Madrid to win both halves at plus 138 on DraftKings. Now, I know that Real Madrid is kind of interesting because they used to be so high-powered offensively when they had Ronaldo, and now they started playing like Atletico Madrid. They just win every game 1-0, and it seems like they don't really score that often, but they keep winning games. And usually their only goal scorer right now is Sergio Ramos from the penalty spot. But looking at Real Madrid here to win both halves, simply put, Alaves just isn't going to score in this game. Real Madrid hasn't allowed a goal in each of their last 4 games. Alaves hasn't scored in 4 of their last 5 games. And Alaves has also allowed the second most road goals in the entire league. I think if Real Madrid scores 1 goal in each half, you're just going to win. And I think that even though Real Madrid has had a little bit of an issue actually putting, goals on the scoreboard. At the end of the day, Alaves, I just think, is so bad defensively that Real Madrid should just be able to create enough chances in both halves to at least put one in each half, and I don't think Alaves is going to score. Real Madrid has 62 goals, second most in the league behind Barcelona, and Alaves has allowed 51 goals, which is the second most in the entire league, not just mentioning road goals. And simply put, Real Madrid just has so much more talent. So for that reason, I'm going to look for Real Madrid to win both halves, which is available at plus 138 on DraftKings.
Yeah, that would seem to be a kind of a perfect storm there for Real Madrid, as no one in the Liga has given up fewer goals, and like you said, the Alava has given up the second highest number of goals in the league. I think that's a solid play. Valdis, how do you feel?
Yeah, when you said you're going to go for a riskier proposition, I thought you're going to back Alaves for something.
Oh, no, I'm not going crazy.
I was like, what's going on here? No, this is totally a really good bet. Alaves, obviously, they will know that they are in contention of actually going down. Still, they sit almost middle of the table, but they can still get relegated at the expense of Mallorca, for example, if everything happens as it should, in my opinion. But Alaves doesn't stand a chance against Real Madrid in this case. And Real Madrid obviously also are not guaranteed the title yet. So for them, beating an opponent as heavy as possible is not only the win counts, but also the goal differential, as we mentioned before with Barcelona, because they will be going head to head. They might end up, if Real Madrid win every single game, they're fine. They are the champions this season, but you never know what happens and what at the end of the day, goal differential might prove crucial. So in each half, Real Madrid will be going for it. There's not going to be it's not going to be a case of sitting and protecting a lead. In this case, no way.
They should. If you look at the recent games, though, they only scored 2 against Mallorca. They only scored 1 against Espanyol. 1 against Getafi's okay, and Bilbao is okay. But overall, offensively, they've kind of been a little bit of a rut, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to at least push the pace a little bit more offensively to try to get things going a little bit. I know that it's important to win games, and they've been winning a lot of games. You can't keep relying on penalty kicks in the 70-something minute in order to win games if you want to be champion. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Real Madrid kind of explode a little bit, maybe win 3-0, something like that. I think that they could use a nice, easier win instead of having to sweat everything out in the second half.
Okay. All right. Very good. Valdis, what's your pick number 2?
My pick number 2, we moved to Thursday to English Premier League. Is it Thursday, though? Yes, it is. Bournemouth will be hosting Tottenham Hotspur. Now, this is an interesting, it might not seem interesting at all, but it is. Bournemouth obviously are facing relegation after spending 5 seasons in the Premier League since their very first season there. Obviously, the team is not ready to leave the top flight. Then again, the results have been absolutely atrocious lately. The team has collected just 1 point in the last 8 games, so it's 1 draw and 7 defeats. The play has not been too good. Still, playing against Tottenham Hotspur, which have been struggling on the road lately. Not even lately, the whole season for Spurs has been pretty, on the road, has been pretty
disastrous.
So, I mean, from 16 road matches, the team has won just 3. That's not something that you should be proud of, especially if you want to finish in a place which guarantees you European soccer for the next season. So also the last results, I have not been impressed by Tottenham at all. The team somehow manages to earn some points and show a little bit better performances when they are playing at home, even without the fans. But away from home, it's not something that gives me such trust into the team that I would back Tottenham for a win here. I would actually go for a shock result for Bournemouth, actually getting something out of the game. Bournemouth, no, it's not too many games left. There's not many games left that the team can actually do something about squeezing out of the bottom 3. So facing a team that has not done too well lately on the road is something that the Cherries, as they are called, for their friends, will definitely try to do. I would back Bournemouth double chance, obviously a draw or a win, for minus 110. Not a bad bet at all. I don't trust Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, especially when they play on the road, and Bournemouth need to win. The team has been pretty decent throughout the last 4 seasons that it played in England's top division back to back. The team hasn't finished lower than 16th until now, when it actually is the closest to being relegated. There's still some games to play for. There's still some points the team can still get behind them and actually squeeze out of the relegation zone. It's a very important game for them, this one. I think at least a point can be, definitely is not something unusual that could happen. Double chance. I mean, it could be that Bournemouth, in fact, absolutely stun Tottenham and grab an unusual win. It has happened. The last few games have brought some surprising results, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see another one here, which would not even be that surprising.
Okay. Let me ask you, Scott, and I've got Bournemouth here plus a half or plus 1 for minus 104. Is that you like that play, or do you like Valdis's play a little better?
For me personally, I'm really just not interested in backing Bournemouth here. It's just a matter of the fact that I understand the value aspect of it. Bournemouth is just so bad. It's really tough to just swallow taking them. They've lost each of their last 5 games. If you want to break it down, they've given up at least 2 goals in 4 of their last 5 games. Tottenham, even though they haven't played well lately, they did beat Everton yesterday. I know that wasn't on the road, but at least they have 1 win lately. So they've entered this in decent form. Tottenham's had a very down year. You're used to seeing them within the top 4 in the Champions League contention. This year, they're not going to be there because they just have had a down year. But the question is, do I think Bournemouth can actually contain Son and Harry Kane? And the answer is no. I just don't think they can. I think Harry Kane's going to score at least 1 goal. And Bournemouth, I just think, is a disaster defensively. And I know that we've seen some really strange results lately, specifically the Southampton victory against Man City on Sunday, which was unheard of. To be honest, looking at the stats, I'm still not even sure how that win was possible.
Stats are crazy in that game.
As a whole, I can understand the value because Tottenham has been so bad on the road, but Bournemouth losing 5 straight, not exactly a team that I'm interested in backing at this point in time. So I understand it. Minus 110 means the odds makers believe it's basically a pick-em between Tottenham winning and Bournemouth drawing or getting a victory themselves, which I can understand. But for me, I'm going to have to pass on that.
All right, fair enough. Scott, what do you have that you're not passing on? What do you got that you actually like?
So I'm looking at Friday's card, and I'm going to be talking about a league we haven't talked about before. I'm going to be sticking with England. However, I'm going to be going down to the minors a little bit, and I'm going to be looking at the Championship League that's going on there. And there's one matchup going on at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. Now, it's a little bit tough to actually determine what the standings are because one of these teams are actually playing right now. So you might have to reevaluate there. But it's going to be a matchup between Luton Town and Huddersfield Town. And I like Huddersfield Town on the money line at minus 122 on DraftKings. Simply put, Luton Town is the worst team in the entire league. They're currently naturally in the demotion territory. And if you want to talk about awful road performances, since we just talked about Tottenham, Luton Town is 4-2-15 on the road this season. So this team doesn't even draw. They just lose every time they play on the road. And they're playing against Huddersfield. Now, Huddersfield Town, even though they are currently safe from relegation, they're only 2 points clear. So there isn't any real motivation advantage for Luton Town here since both teams drastically need the win. But at the end of the day, Huddersfield Town, are they great at home? No. But they're definitely a lot better at home than Luton is on the road. And if you break it down, Huddersfield is 7-6-8 at home. They have 7 home wins, which is decent. I can't say that it's great, but it's decent. And if you want to look at just road performances by Luton, I mean, you can't really get much worse. If you really want to go 4-2-15, you're giving me a minus 122 on DraftKings. That seems worth it to me. I think Luton's going to get demoted. So for that reason, I'll give that out at minus 122.
Valdis, let me ask you this. When a team gets demoted from the English Championship League, where do they go?
They go to League One. The
League
third
One?
tier, League One. Yes.
How far down do they have to go before they actually have to play in America?
No, they don't.
They need to take a boat and just sail.
I forgot how many leagues England has, but I want to say that they have
a lot.
Say at least 7. I mean, you might have like
at least, at very least, that's around 10 or more.
You probably double
also
in there.
So, is it physically possible?
Confusing.
Is it physically possible for a team from the 7th worst league to eventually play in the Premier League?
Absolutely.
It would take a couple of decades.
If they have the money.
Yeah, it would take a couple decades here and there. You'd have to probably change ownership, have somebody be willing to spend money.
But it is possible for them to continue to work their way up.
Yes.
I'm sure it has happened. I don't know the full details of all the teams that have been in the Premier League, but I'm sure there was at least one team that used to be in the 7th league that moved up. I'm sure that's happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, but there's definitely have been more than one.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Like that. There's teams that have, for example, they are entering, depending on their budget, they're entering certain league, and then they are just crawling year after year as far as they can, obviously financially, because not every team could actually allow. You also have to have like certain capacity in the stadium and just like details that would not guarantee you to actually, even if you progress somewhere, you would not actually go further because you just don't have the money to sustain your club on a little bit of a higher level.
To me, that's fascinating. So what happens if you qualify for an upper league, but you don't have the stadium size and you don't have the money?
You have to you have to rebuild. But that obviously that it would never happen. The team that doesn't have the money also doesn't have the players that they would play who would perform on a certain level. So you you will always be somewhere in the same league.
Plus, if you end up if you get upgraded or you get promoted, I should say, you got a decent amount of extra change in your pocket.
Of course, yes.
On some stadium.
But that will not be, for example, for the lower leagues, that will not be as earth-shattering as, for example, to go from Championship to Premier League. That's all. That's something that no team. Also, the relegation is no team would want to be faced with because it's a lot of money. You either win or lose.
Yeah.
All right, very interesting. And Valdis, just that particular play, do you like that? You like Scott's bet there?
It's a pretty good one. Yeah, Luton Town has been horrible on the road. I know a Luton Town fan who also lives here throughout the summer. He has not been happy. He's not been happy about his team at all. And it's obviously it's better to back Huddersfield Town for sure. Huddersfield played in the Premier League recently as well, and the team has not. It has gone pretty bad in Championship.
It's going bad, but
lately.
Not as badly as
Luton has not been, especially on the road. Luton is not. It's a road game for Luton, I suppose.
Yes.
So it's not something I would go for. I would never back Luton on the road.
Well, your poor friend. It's like being a Detroit fan. He's got Luton Town. He lives in Mallorca. Not a good season for him at all, huh?
Yeah, that's me. I'm a Detroit fan living in Mallorca. That's me.
Not good.
I know. And also that fourth pick in the draft. Oh my God.
So you really are a Detroit fan?
I am a Detroit Red Wings fan since I was a kid. Yes. I can't believe this season. It's just
that draft lottery. I still find the draft lottery funny for hockey because you don't even know who won the draft lottery yet.
It's just ridiculous.
You got to figure it out.
I don't think Los Angeles Kings will be complaining too much.
Oh no!
But I think
I would be complaining if I was Ottawa. I mean, Ottawa
and Detroit.
Detroit,
unbelievable.
Detroit should complain, but Ottawa had two of the top
2 picks. Yeah, I thought actually Ottawa was going to win the first one,
Yeah,
and then
because
maybe
they
Newcastle
were
for
picking San
the
Jose, so I
fourth.
figured that they had the percentage. They had like 20-something% to win the lottery, and they just didn't get
Yeah,
it.
overall, yeah, at least,
But
but
oh,
it's just unbelievable.
All right. Sorry
We
for hitting
somehow
the
squeezed ice hockey.
Yeah, I didn't mean to poke the bear there. All right, so let's talk about better news. Valdis, who else you got cooked up for us?
Well, we have on Saturday, we have Liverpool playing Burnley. Very interesting game, in my opinion. Liverpool have not been doing too well. They won the league. They have the trophy for the first time in 30 years.
and then Man City killed them.
Man City kills them. Then they can't really perform against Aston Villa, scoring only the first goal. They won at the end 2-0, but scored the first goal with only the second shot on goal on the 71st minute. I don't know how Aston Villa actually outshot them 9-6 or something. It was just, I don't know what's going on with Liverpool. Liverpool's road form dipped considerably since their 1-0 loss to Atletico Madrid back in February. But they've been pretty decent on at home. Obviously, also like they did beat Aston Villa at the end, although with a very heavy game. But they did extend their winning streak at home this season. They still haven't lost or drawn a game. They've won all 17 games, and their winning streak at home in the Premier League is 24 games, stretching back to last season. And they can actually, this year, they have like still 2 games at home left. It's Burnley and then Chelsea. And they can match the 120-year-old record set by Sunderland 128 years ago, when they won in the top league. They won every single home game. Liverpool can still do it. Will they do that? I don't think so. I really don't think so. The team has started playing so bad that against Burnley, who has defied all expectations, it's going to be a really tough test for Liverpool's resolve, or how they can handle a hangover after celebrating so much their historic victory. Burnley have been great. Burnley have been struggling with injuries. They have been struggling with contract issues for players whose contracts finished. They never signed, so they didn't even have players to put on substitute bench since the restart of the Premier League. Still, the team has somehow managed to lose just one of its last 11 games in the English top flight, and posted 6 victories along the way. And at the moment, the team is completely safe for next season. There's not going to be any relegation talk about Burnley. Burnley actually can still manage to finish in the top 7 and actually qualify for the Europa League. It's possible if they continue in the same way. The team is one of the smallest teams in England, but also they are in one of the smallest towns in England, where the population density actually, that every second person goes to a game. That every second person from the town actually is at the stadium when they play. It's absolutely an incredible backing, and the team actually plays with that heart on its sleeve. And it's really hard not to like Burnley, especially when they are performing really good and I would not say the most attractive play, because obviously the past few games they've played without their leading scorers, but defensively the team is super solid, and playing as a team, I think they could cause problems to a Liverpool team which has not been performing that well. My bet on this one would be not to back directly Burnley to win or to have a draw, but I would back Burnley not to lose by more than 1 goal. So on the Asian handicap of 1.5, Burnley with a handicap 1.5, the odds are -105. Perfect, in my opinion. If you can't obviously have it, I don't know in the States if you can get the Asian handicap possibility to put bet on that.
DraftKings has the Asian handicap.
Bet Online has that plus 105 at -108 as well.
Yeah, that's my bet. I'm going for Burnley plus 105. The team has been good. The team can obviously hold its own. And obviously, the last 10 games, it has not. 10 of the last 11 games, the team has not lost by more than one goal.
Scott, how do you feel about that? I watched a little bit of that Liverpool Aston Villa game, and Liverpool they didn't look like the better team for much of that game. Like Valdis said, they did pull away late there in the 71st minute and then scored a goal. I think in extra time, but they did not look like the best team in the EPL for the vast majority of that game. You like this play, taking Burnley and the goal and a half?
I think the play makes a lot of sense. Now, for the Aston Villa game that happened last week, Aston Villa is currently in the midst of getting relegated, so it's clearly a motivational aspect for why Aston Villa kept that game very close, because they simply wanted to win, and Liverpool was content with taking a nap for about 70 minutes, and then they just decided, oh, it's Aston Villa, we should probably try to win this one. And they just decided to score 2 goals in the last 20-something minutes. So for this game, it's really tough because Burnley, even though they have played a lot better lately, as they have won each of their last 2 games, they beat Crystal Palace, who's in 14th, and they beat Watford, who's in 17th. So they haven't really beaten anybody worth, with much talent. The last time they played a serious opponent, they got killed by Man City. But as we talked about before a couple weeks ago, Man City's looked at the best team since the restart anyway, even though they lost to Chelsea. But for this game, you're leaving yourself an option there if Liverpool does end up winning by exactly 1 goal. If I had to look anywhere, I'd probably look to Liverpool first half and full time at plus 130 on Fox Bet. You give me a plus price with a better team. The question is, are the starters going to play for Liverpool? I don't know about Salah. I don't know about Firmino.
Firmino probably will go on because he started the previous game late, and actually with him coming on, Liverpool started playing well against Aston Villa. Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane might be rested.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'd probably wait until you hear the lineups with that. If Salah is playing, or I don't really know what to think about Firmino, to be honest. He's had a pretty mediocre year for such a dominant team. He's kind of been a little bit underwhelming, especially after giving him that much money. But if Salah is going to play, which is very unlikely, but if he does, this seems like a must-play to me. I think Salah can easily score 2 goals in this game. It's just a matter of the fact that he's so talented, and I don't think Burnley can stop him. So I would simply tell you I'd wait on the lineups. I'd wait to hear if Mane or Salah or both are going to play. But Liverpool first half and full time at plus 130, I mean, you're getting the most talented team that has the best defense in the entire league, and you're getting them at a plus price to just have the lead at the half and hold on to it for the rest of the game. That would be my pick. But once again, I'm going to wait for the lineups on that one.
Okay. All right. Very good. It's like we got a little disagreement. That always makes it fun.
Well, Liverpool could win by 1 goal, and we're both fine.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That would be the sweet spot for everybody involved is Liverpool.
Yeah. The issue I have with Burnley is that you score 1 goal against Watford and 1 goal against Crystal Palace. I don't know if they're going to score in this game. I know that Liverpool's offense looked very underwhelming. Defensively, they've still been really good. I know the Man City game was a destruction, and that's a complete outlier. But I really don't know if Burnley's going to score in this game. And I think if Liverpool even gets 1 in the first half, that could be enough.
That could be the only goal of the game. It could actually end up being 1-0 to Liverpool, which also would be quite underwhelming for the Reds anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Very, very solid. All right, Scott, what do you got on the horizon there for the this week over there?
So this is going to be my last pick of the video, and I'm actually going to go back to La Liga. I was looking at Serie A. I really wasn't a fan of anything, so I just decided not to go into it too much. Looking at some of the weekend stuff that's going on, though, I'm going to be going back to one of the teams I've been mentioning a lot on the show, unfortunately for Valdis, and it will be on Mallorca. It's going to be on the Sevilla-Mallorca game coming up on this upcoming Sunday. Now, I'm not a big fan of picking games so far in advance when the team has a game before it. But we were talking about before and how Valdis has already accepted the fact that, well, we can still make it out of it even if we lose to Sevilla, because I think he knows that they don't really have much of a chance against Sevilla in that matchup. And one play I'm looking at in particular, it's going to be Mallorca not to score, and that's going to be at minus 117 on DraftKings. Sevilla, simply put, they've allowed only 14 goals in 17 home games. and Mallorca's only scored 13 goals in 17 road games. And Sevilla's also not allowed a goal in each of their last 2 games. I thought about maybe taking Sevilla to win to 0 at plus 106, but I feel like I'm just getting a safer deal at the minus 117 for Mallorca, no goals. Sevilla, even though historically they might have been a pretty solid offense, they've been really good defensively this season, which I feel like a lot of people haven't realized. And Mallorca, even though they might generate some chances every now and then, they just can't score on a regular basis. So for that reason, I think that there's a pretty good chance Mallorca is not going to score. I think this should be somewhere in the minus 120s, minus 130s. I think minus 117 is a pretty good deal. So once again, my last play is going to be on Mallorca not to score against Sevilla, and that's at minus 117 on DraftKings.
What do you think, Valdis? He's calling out your home team there, buddy. Says they got nothing, no scores, 0. You on board with
that? I think I would actually go for Sevilla to win to 0. I don't think Mallorca's going to have a lot of chances in this game. It might end up being quite a entertaining matchup to watch, but I don't think it's going to happen for Mallorca this time around. I don't think Mallorca also looks at this game as one that the team can actually get some points out of.
Well, one thing also worth mentioning for this is that Sevilla still has something to play for. We're talking about motivation. Sevilla right now is number 4 in the top 4, and they're only 6 points clear of Villarreal. Now, are they going to be in anyway? Probably. I don't think Villarreal is going to catch them. But if they win this game, they basically clinch a spot in the Champions League next year. So they still have a lot to play for, unlike some other teams who are middle of the table, nothing to play for. I know that they're going for pride. Some teams who are fighting for the 8th spot instead of the 10th spot. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, either you're at the bottom of the table and you still have to play really hard, or you're at the top of the table but you're not number 1 and you still have to try to find your way into the Champions League. So Sevilla's right now in that sweet spot of still having to try, even though they're not going to be winning the league. So Sevilla should come into this game, see Mallorca, and just realize we can't underestimate them. We need as many points as we can get. We can't let Villarreal knock us to Europa League. So there's a lot of motivation for Sevilla to actually play well here. I think that should pay off.
Yeah, they should be able to clinch a spot there in the Champions League with a victory here, right?
Mm-hmm. I'd have to assume.
Well, at least move much closer to it, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
It's an important game.
Very good. All right, Valdis, you got anything else? You got anything left in the bag?
I do have 2 quick ones.
All right.
Both from the Premier League. One's from Saturday, the other one's from Sunday. On Saturday, we have Sheffield United, Chelsea, a really good game between 2 really informed teams, I would say. Sheffield didn't play too well since the restart, but have kind of got themselves together, getting 4 points out of the last 2 games, winning 1 and drawing 1. They are playing Wolverhampton tomorrow, which will be quite a big challenge for them. But the following game on Saturday, they are playing Chelsea, who are playing actually Crystal Palace at the moment. Regardless of how they play against their upcoming opponents, I think this is actually a really good opportunity to get a really good deal on both teams earning a draw throughout this fixture. The draw is actually at plus 300. The very last game between the 2 teams in August, the reverse fixture that they played in London at Chelsea, finished 2-2. It's a really good deal on that. I know that Chelsea are playing a little bit better than Sheffield are now, but Sheffield are great in defense, and I think they're going to be taking this one really seriously. Obviously, Sheffield is also trying to get either in Europa League or Champions League, depending on what at the end of the day they will manage to do. But obviously, a Champions League spot would be absolutely perfect for the team. Even Europa League is fine with them because Chelsea obviously are currently 4th and sitting with the Champions League spot in their hands and trying not to give it away to Manchester United and Wolverhampton. A draw in this one, I think, will be upsetting to both teams, but this is a really likely outcome for this fixture. Both teams are good enough. Chelsea more informed, but I think at home Sheffield will be again a top defensively, as they have been throughout the whole season. And the other one on Sunday, we have Aston Villa playing Crystal Palace.
Real quick, Valdis, what price did you have on the draw there?
Plus 300.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right.
I think that's like one of the best prices on a draw. Actually, if you go with Sheffield United double chance, win or draw, you get plus 110. I would not really go for Sheffield to snatch a win against Chelsea. Chelsea are too good at the moment.
I don't think they're beating Chelsea.
Yeah, I think a draw is a pretty realistic possibility in this one, because Sheffield are good. They are good at home. They are good defensively, and Chelsea are pretty much in form at the moment. But can they sustain that form against a really equal team? Well, we shall see, obviously. But I think Sheffield can snatch a draw in this one for sure.
Okay, very good. And what do you got for Sunday?
For Sunday, we have Aston Villa, Crystal Palace. Obviously, Aston Villa fighting for its life in the top division. It has not won for 9 straight games, 7 defeats in the last 9. Prior to this game, they will have on Thursday they play Manchester United, which will be another disaster. Meanwhile, Crystal Palace are obviously playing Chelsea at the moment. We'll see how that goes, but I don't think Crystal Palace will be doing much too good against Chelsea, also considering that this is a London derby. Chelsea will be quite eager to put their London stamp on this match. Crystal Palace have been defeated prior to today's game against Chelsea, 3 games in a row without scoring a single goal, which is really ironic because the previous 4 games they actually won without conceding a single goal. So the drop in form for Crystal Palace has been tremendously horrible. For Aston Villa, obviously Aston Villa has every single intention of staying in the league, and it only at the moment, as it stands at the moment, it is just 1 point below safety. So any point counts, and a victory in this one would be absolutely crucial for Aston Villa. Also considering that Watford are playing bad, and you never know what West Ham United how they're going to perform in the last few games. I would actually back Aston Villa at home to snatch a little win here, which will be huge for them. The last 5 games in the Premier League between the two teams have been really kind of equal. Both teams have won 2, have lost 2, and drawn 1. In this case, though, Aston Villa will be the more desperate team. Absolutely. It also hasn't played that bad. Even if you look at the results, the performances obviously have not been that horrific. Also against Liverpool, they did try their best and could have actually snatched at least a point in that one. Aston Villa to win is plus 125, but also considering that Crystal Palace haven't really scored any goals in the last 3 games prior to the game against Chelsea, and Aston Villa have not been really that good offensively, I would back that a little one kind of very dirty, scrappy goal from Aston Villa could make all the difference here. So a correct score for Aston Villa to beat Crystal Palace 1-0 at plus 625 is my bet.
Taking the big swing there.
Exactly.
I like it.
Very realistic proposition, in my opinion.
Scotty, you got thoughts on either one of those?
I kind of agree with all the points that he made. Aston Villa is definitely going to need a win. I think there's some value there. We're actually going through some plays, and I actually originally was not going to give out a play on this matchup because I thought that this was going to be one of the games that Valdis was talking about. I was actually going to be on a game on Thursday, and it's going to be between Aston Villa and Manchester United. I thought you were going to go into United because they've been arguably the hottest team in the entire EPL over the last couple of weeks. So since you decided not to, I'm actually going to give out another play. It's going to be a player prop on Anthony Martial, and I like Martial to score at minus 104 on DraftKings. Simply put, Man U's been unstoppable offensively over the last couple of weeks. They've scored at least 3 goals in each of their last 3 domestic games. Aston Villa's been okay defensively. I would say more leaning underwhelming. So they're a little bit below average defensively. And Martial is the number one goal scorer at Man U. He's scored a lot recently, and you're getting him roughly at just even money to score in a game here where Man U should score at least 2 or 3 goals. I think that's a great deal. So I'm going to add one more play, and I'm going to take Martial to score at any time at -104 on DraftKings. That one is available at -135 on FanDuel, so you're also saving roughly 30 cents of value right there. At that price at -104, I think you kind of have to play it.
All right. Very good choice. Any final thoughts on that one?
Very good choice. Martial is playing also as a central striker, and obviously everyone is putting Marcus Rashford as the primary goal scorer. Who he hasn't really scored lately as much as Mason Greenwood or Anthony Martial, for that matter. But all this front three of Greenwood, Rashford, Martial is really exciting. Obviously, with Bruno Fernandes behind them, Martial gets loads of chances of scoring. He scored a hat-trick 2 or 3 games ago, and was also really impressive in his last game. Martial to score against Aston Villa, a no-brainer. I would go for that, and especially for that with these odds, is really a good price.
All right, very good, gentlemen. This has been a lot of fun. I always like doing the soccer shows. It's a shame that we had to take a big chunk of the season off there, as this would have been quite a season to get together every week and talk a little European soccer.
Well, the next season starts shortly, I think.
We also would have had a French league to talk about, which
there's some cup games coming up.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right, so we're not quite out yet, huh?
And our favorite FA Cup, the semifinals.
I still think Man City's going to win them, but we'll see.
They should. Man City should.
All right.
They will be pushing for the trophy, but yeah, we'll.
Cool. Well, let's. Hey, what do you say we get together next week and do it again?
Perfect idea.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, very good, guys. Hey, Valdis, thanks very much for joining us, man. I know you're on a little bit of a different time schedule over there. We're cutting into your beer drinking time, so we appreciate you. We appreciate you stopping by. Have you got your beer rocking? Let's see it. Very good. What are we drinking today? What do you got going on?
Some French beer. From
French beer? All right. Got you a beer drinker?
Every now and then. But
yeah.
I can't say that I drink it that much on my own time, but usually if there's some solo cups around, I'll be drinking some beer.
I like a good quality beer. It's one of the things that I gave away.
As opposed to a bad quality beer? I'm not really sure.
As opposed to a bad quality beer. That's a beer of bad quality. How about that?
You have to visit Latvia for really good beer.
I'm on my way.
I didn't even know that.
I'm sorry. They won't let us out of here right now. We can't leave, Valdis. We can't go there. We can't.
I always assumed Germany was. I mean, everyone knows Germany is one of the peak places to get beer just for Oktoberfest and everything like that. I didn't know Latvia had good quality.
Latvia is
I know that.
perfect place too. You will have about 300 different beers.
I don't know.
It's not more. Actually, I might be lying. It must be way more than that. Latvia was in the top 3 of European countries that is producing different kinds of beer behind Belgium or something on Germany, probably.
I can see that.
Yeah. Very nice beer.
Is there any particular brand like I could find in the States? If I go to a good liquor store that has a lot of beer?
No idea. You will not. The best beer is the so-called alive beer, which you can only keep for a certain amount of days. So you will not. It can't be shipped anywhere.
All right. Story of my life.
So you have to be there. I can't get it here.
Oh man, that sucks. All right. So now maybe when they lift some of these travel restrictions, I need to hit around Europe and sample some beers. I do that. I do the beer tour.
Yeah, and, the beer in Mallorca as well, the sun, and a tour by me.
I'm convinced, and my wife is still on me to go to the Tour de France some year. So, maybe we could all combine it with beer and the beach and the Tour de France and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I think we're getting off track here just a little bit. I was just curious. I know you're always rocking a good beer over there, man. So it's a little early for Scott and I to start hammering the beer. It's we do the show at noon my time, And
it's already quite an evening here.
yeah, exactly. So Valdis, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me, and yeah, maybe see you next week.
Your insights as well, Scott. As always, thanks for bringing your special knowledge of soccer. You've really done you do a good job, man. You really know this stuff quite well. And I'm a work in progress, but I know you follow it. And Scott, you have an interesting story. You started following soccer. Why?
I was playing the video games.
Playing the video game of FIFA, and you started learning the players and everything like that. So very, very cool. All right, gentlemen. Well, thanks very much, and wish everybody good luck on all of their plays. And, of course, we wish our viewers good luck on all of their plays. Tail along. These guys know their stuff. If you didn't pick that up watching this video, I don't know what to tell you, but these cats have a lot of knowledge of soccer. I like their plays. I'm going to be making them myself. So follow along and let us know how you did. Drop us a note in the comments section and see if we got any of our regular soccer viewers still out there, like the Mad Carrot or C-Dub. Any of you guys still watching our soccer videos? I'd be curious to see how you've been doing here in the European season and what you got going for this week. So anyway, once again, thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate it. And we couldn't do it without you guys. Make sure you stop by and check out a lot of Valdis' stuff over there at winnersandwhiners.com, our sister site, statsalt.com. I know he writes up great previews on a lot of these games. And, yeah, we can whatever the sport is, we got you covered over there at winnersandwhiners.com and statsalt.com. So make sure you stop by and check that out. And they've also got some previews coming up for the American sports that should be firing up here again as far as Major League Baseball and the NFL. So get over there and get yourself to reading. All right. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for Valdis Pans, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, we appreciate you guys stopping by today. Wish you nothing but the best. Hope everybody has a great day. Stay healthy, stay happy. We'll be back again tomorrow. We're going to take a look at this week's golf tournament. So Scott and I will be breaking that down. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to today in sports betting. Until then, you guys take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.